Okay, so there's a theory I'd like to put forth regarding the Maura case. And obviously, this is just a theory. We don't know what happened. I'm not sure if we ever will know what happened. But after pouring into this case for a very considerable amount of time, I have a theory. Again, it's a theory. I want to stress that. A theory. Everyone involved that I mention here is obviously innocent until proven guilty. I'm just simply, hypothesizing, guessing, and this is all just kind of simply through information that we've been made known was public. This is just people trying to put dots together, okay? We're not saying that these people indeed are involved. It's just a thought, okay? I want to make that clear. Alright, so let's get into it. So, like I said, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this case and various theories that I've kind of come up with. And I think this is, excuse me, I think this is one of my most plausible, I would want to say. Again, obviously no one knows other than those who are involved. So this is, it's shooting in the dark. Alright, so let's think about this. So we knew that Kathleen was having issues with her partner at the time. What if she was staying at Maura's dorm? We knew Maura had a single dorm, although it had room for more than one person. There was 2 beds. What if she offered that to Kathleen? And what if Kathleen took her up on that to get away from Tim? Okay, so now let's suppose that was the case. Let's see, that night when Maura was at work and she received the quote-unquote my sister phone call. What if Kathleen was driving Maura's car while Maura was at work and went to go get alcohol at the liquor store? I don't recall the name, but it's actually in what would form a circle from where Maura's car was parked and then along Triangle Street in the intersection with Mattoon Street, which is where Patrick was hit. So that's a very possible situation, logistically at least. That route of one going from the lot where the car was being parked, going to the liquor store, and then going back towards the dorm to park the car and go back home. Okay. So, with that, let's suppose that the alcohol which was purchased, that was found in the car later, was purchased by Kathleen and possibly not Maura. Okay, so let's assume that, again, Kathleen was there, staying with Maura in her dorm. Why? Okay, obviously we knew that she had some issues with her partner, Kathleen, that is. Maybe they were just planning to get away. We knew that they were, or Maura, I should say, was calling around looking for rentals in the Bartlett area, I believe, as well as looking up information about rentals in Burlington and or Stowe, Vermont, I believe it was. Okay. So now, that could have been the plan to begin with. However, then if Kathleen did indeed hit Patrick with the vehicle, Kathleen's actions could have caused this to kind of take a crazy turn one way or another. So, when Maura was seen at work and she was all quote-unquote catatonic and just out of it and could only say my sister, we know her supervisor walked her back to her dorm. And that Maura told the supervisor that she had a roommate so she could talk about it because the supervisor was quite worried about her. However, we know that's not the case. Maura had a single occupancy room despite it being larger. I believe this was due to the fact that it was still within the ad drop period for the semester and it's possible she could have ended up with a roommate. But again, what if Kathleen was in there? And what if the excuse of, I have a roommate to talk about it, was just, Kathleen's there, and she didn't want her to know that Kathleen was there. Okay? So now, let's assume that, again, Kathleen was there, and again, we're assuming that a collision took place between Maura's car being driven by Kathleen and Patrick. Now, Maura may have wanted to come clean about this and turn in Kathleen to the UMass police. due to Kathleen hitting Patrick with her car. As we know, Maura had a lot of her own issues and couldn't really afford to be pegged with this with the UMass PD or state police or Massachusetts or Amherst police, whoever it would have been, because as we know, she had her own legal troubles stemming back from the shoplifting at West Point, and then again the credit card fraud while at UMass, and she had to retain the good behavior to make those previous things be kind of washed from her record. So she may have been wanting to turn in Kathleen to kind of save her own skin. Now, I'm sure Kathleen probably wasn't too keen on this, because hitting someone and seriously injuring them with a vehicle while you're driving, potentially while intoxicated, is a very serious crime. And as we know, Kathleen had a host of her own issues, like addiction, and God knows what else. What if they were discussing that, possibly had some kind of argument or a fight, or what if Kathleen contacted her partner, and what if those two, Kathleen and her partner, conspired to make the threat of Kathleen being turned in disappear, if you know what I mean? Okay? So what if that is the case? What if Kathleen and her partner staged both the dorm room scene as well as the accident in Woodsville? Now, the dorm room, I've never really understood. It seems too bizarre, frankly, from what we know. Although the information they've released has been quite limited, so we're limited in that. However, the accident scene up in Woodsville. So what if that was their attempt at just ditching the car? Okay, possible. However, what if that was an authentic accident? What if that was a genuine accident? They were just driving it somewhere, not intending to stop there on Route 112. However, due to whatever happened, either, possibly an actual accident with possible law enforcement, an accident with another vehicle, maybe being driven in tandem, simply losing control of the rundown Saturn and it hitting the snowbank and the tree like they've told us so many times. We don't know, but I think this theory is quite plausible. It's potentially not a very popular theory. I feel like the family's kind of cast this, shield of immunity in regards to this case, which I think is probably doing more harm to the case than anything. How dare you, look at the family. Well, a lot of people who are harmed by those people in their family. That's the fact of the matter. I don't really buy that this was a random incident where she crashed a car and then was picked up by some dirtbag. I don't buy that at all. So, that's my theory. I think the family knows a whole heck of a lot more than they're letting on. And I think law enforcement was probably tangled up in some type of cover-up. Not due to their own violent actions, possibly. However, maybe just due to cover up some incompetence. The theory could have been that law enforcement ran into possibly Kathleen and Tim up in Haverhill, up in Woodsville. But we're kind of duped by them. I think that's very possible. And the PD kind of failing to have done their due diligence within that regard or that interaction with whoever they ran into up there. I think they know it could have really saved their skin, and also could have possibly saved or at least recovered Maura. Anyways, that's about it. That's my theory. Let me know what you think. Another part of this I forgot to mention initially is people are going to say, oh, well, that can't be because Butch Atwood supposedly talked with Maura after her accident. Well, what if that wasn't Maura? We know that when Butch was shown a photo of Maura, he said something along the lines of, yeah, I guess that's her, or something like that. He wasn't very enthusiastic. He wasn't very convinced it was her. But I mean, why else would they be showing him a photo of this woman? So he figured, okay, it must be her. So, what if it was Kathleen? Okay. just an idea there.